And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Today's hazardous weather graphic showing a high wind warning out for the Alaska range for tonight for winds gusting above 60 miles an hour, especially through the passes from the south and southeast. Otherwise, winter storm warning tonight for the western Arctic coast, Point Lay on down to Cape Lisborne, Point Hope. And also a winter storm warning here for the lower Yukon River Valley for snow and areas of freezing rain producing a light glaze in that area. And for satellite imagery, see the clouds and moisture here streaming northward, and kind of another low center here pulling up toward the Alaska Peninsula today, just clipping southwest Kodiak Island. To the east, though, clear skies over the Gulf of Alaska and southeastward there, and mostly clear for the Panhandle. A lot of sunshine today, south central Alaska, up into the central interior, as well as much of the eastern part of the state, dry with variable cloudiness. Kind of a breakout here over the central Bering Sea, and then a weak system bringing some snow into the western Aleutians. And rolling this again, you can see really nothing moving much from east to west, mostly from south to north here due to big area high pressure over the northwest Canada area close to the border. So everything going up and over the top of that and then kind of dropping back down. And for the surface map today, at the surface here is a high pressure area there covering much of the northwest territories of Canada and bringing a lot of clear, dry weather into the eastern and central part of the state. This persistent area of southerly winds bringing moisture in along this trough axis all the way up to the Brooks Range there. And colder conditions, of course, back to the west of the warm front, and mixture of precipitation over eastern Bristol Bay with temperatures basically above freezing. Some rain southwest Kodiak Island, gusty north winds up to 40 miles an hour for the Alaska Peninsula, with moderate snow falling in some areas there. A break here with some clearing over the central and east central Bering Sea, and then more in the way of light snow and snow showers, but not too bad wind-wise for the western Aleutians. For tonight, this whole band edges westward again, and there'll be some areas of light snow associated with it, persistent areas of light snow. And winds stay a little gusty, but start to diminish here, especially over central Bristol Bay with a trough axis moving right over the area there. And more moisture coming up, so periods of rain continue for Kodiak Island. And the central and eastern part of the state dry with mostly clear skies all the way down again into the Gulf of Alaska, down across the southeast coast with strong high pressure over western Canada, keeping all this moisture back to the west here and starting to edge it a little to the east there. Next system down here to the south we'll see for tomorrow pulls northwestward here, and that'll keep snow in over the Alaska Peninsula and Bristol Bay. Mixture of rain or snow for the Alaska or for king salmon and into Kodiak Island. In other words, I was trying to say eastern Bristol Bay with some light snow up into the Kuskokwim Valley, but dry for much of the western interior here with the precipitation restricted to mostly along the west coast there all the way up to the western Arctic coast, and still a break between this trough and the system out here over the central Aleutians and into the Pribilofs northward to St. Lawrence Islands for pretty good conditions there tomorrow. Light winds, precipitation free. Numerous snow showers though from about Adak westward to Chimay-Attu. And then for Friday, that low center kind of shears off. One center pulls up here into the southeastern Bering Sea, and another one actually kind of pulls back to the southeast there, and the front stays well to the south. But easterly flow keeps periods of rain, especially southern Kodiak Island, ending around Fognak Island, and variable clouds pushing into the Kenai Peninsula and Cook Inlet area. Probably overcast skies there, but partly to mostly sunny. Northern Cook Inlet, Matanuska Valley, Susitna Valley, Copper River Basin, some good sunshine again, as well as Prince William Sound, the North Gulf Coast. Another clear day with light winds for the Panhandle and dry all the way up to the Arctic coast with areas of clearing. And light snow continuing, but starting to get edged out a little farther to the west into the St. Lawrence Island area, maybe some light snow and snow showers for the Pribilof Islands. And the big storm coming in, as you can see, just making it on the chart there by afternoon with bringing gale and storm force winds, especially along the front there as it pushes into the western and in toward the west central Aleutians. Lows for tonight, anywhere from 0 to 5 below there from St. Lawrence Island, western Seward Peninsula to the western central Arctic coast. And 0 to 5 below also for the Yukon Flats, and maybe down to 15 below here for the colder areas there south of Eagle to the Alaska Range. Otherwise, 5 to 15 for the interior, 20s for south central Alaska, mid-30s for Homer, and upper 30s for Kodiak. Lows in the Panhandle for the southeast coast, ranging from 18 at Yakutat to 30 degrees down there for Craig and Klawock, Heidelberg, and those areas. Highs, sunshine, lower to mid-40s for the central and southern Panhandle. A little cooler up to the north, mid to upper 30s there, near 40 or into the lower 40s here for the North Gulf Coast, with 45 forecast for Port Moller and Soldovia as well as Homer. Mid to upper 30s, south central Alaska, Mananuska-Susitna Valley, mid-20s Copper River Basin, 25 to 35 for the central interior, and 5 to 15 for the North Slope and Arctic coast to St. Lawrence Island, 20s for the Pribilofs, 30s for the Aleutians. Lows for Friday morning, 5 to 15 below for the North Slope and the Arctic coast, also into the Yukon Flats, falling down to 10 to 20 below there for areas of the Copper River Basin, on up to Tok and Northway, Chicken in those areas, otherwise above 0 for the remainder of the interior, anywhere from 5 to 15. Much milder 20s for the lower Yukon Valley and mid-30s for Bristol Bay, upper 30s for Kodiak Island, and 10 to 20 for the Susitna Valley, in the 20s for the Kenai Peninsula, 20s for the northern Panhandle, lower 30s to the south, and for the highs, back into the 40s, 45 to 50, southern southeast coast, mid-40s for Sitka, lower 40s elsewhere, except 45 there for Haines and Skagway, mid-40s for Yakutat, and 30 to 35, or lower to mid-30s for south central Alaska, except again into the 40s for Homer and Kodiak, King Salmon, high near 40, mostly in the 20s for the interior, and 5 below to 10 above for the North Slope and the Arctic coast, and about 26 for St. Paul.